This is Mark Guerrero. Welcome to East L.A. Music Stories. My guest is Adolfo Martinez, aka Fuzzy. Everybody knows him as Fuzzy. And he's a great saxophone player and flute player. And he's been in some great bands. He was in the seminal group, the Village Callers, very popular. Um, Probably the first East LA group that used Latin percussion, arguably. Also, Poverty Train and Chico for many, many years. Maybe 40, 50 years he's been at Chico.
Yes,
So, how you doing, Fuzzy?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Really good, man. So finally we get to talk. And so I've interviewed Joe Espinoza from the Village Callers and Chico. And so we'll get another point of view of the history of those groups. And as far as the Poverty Train, I've interviewed Geree Gonzalez, female Geree, vocalist, and the late Mike Mercado.
Yes.
And so it'll be interesting. You'll be talking about the same groups, but from your point of view. So tell me how you got started in music.
Well, it was at Belvedere Junior High School. I started on clarinet, and I think it was seventh grade. And so that was my first instrument at insistence of my my father. So he wanted me to play. I think he had gone out dancing with my mom, and they saw some big band, and the guy, woodwind player, had saxes and flute and clarinet and all those instruments. So it, I guess it clicked something in him. So he insisted that I play, and that's how I got started. Yeah.
It's funny. I played clarinet too. I started in the third grade and played clarinet for 6 years, all the way through the ninth grade. Then I bought an alto sax, played a little bit, and then I switched over to guitar, and that was the end of this. That was the end of the woodwinds.
Yeah, it's basically the same beginning of our music career, both of us. Because I played clarinet, and then same thing. I When I went to Garfield, I switched over to saxophone.
That's another point. We both went to Garfield High School at the same time. I think you were 6 months or a year ahead of me. Were you winter or summer?
Summer 60. I graduated in '66.
Okay, so I was winter. So I think that means you were half a term, maybe 6 months ahead of me. So what was the first band you got into?
The first band I played with was it was Marcy and the Imperials,
Ah, I remember them very well.
blues band. Really like neighborhood. Uh, One of the top bands as far as people listening to them. Uh, People meaning musicians. They were really good. They had a sax player named Joe Farfan, who's he was excellent at high school. And he was playing really well. And so yeah,
And he later was a sax player for the Midnighters, Joe Farfan.
yeah, yeah, he did.
Now
And
you're talking about Marcy Alvarado.
exactly. And Joe was in that band. Joe Espinoza was in that band as well.
Mhm.
And
I remember seeing Marcy and the Imperials at the Cleveland House in East LA,
yes,
and my band played there several times. There used to be Battle of the Bands there too, and we were in three of them. We were often battled against the Exotics, but I remember seeing Marcy and the Imperials there, and I believe, do you remember, do you remember Shaggy and the Superiors?
I remember the name, but I don't. I don't. I used to go there to listen, but I would stay outside because I like to hear. I didn't know what blues was yet, and it's a slow song, and they play all these fast things. What was that? So that yeah, I used to go to the Cleveland House, but I wouldn't even go in. I would just stand outside and listen.
So you had told me before once, I interviewed you years ago for an article, and you told me that one night you went substituted for Joe Farfan, and you had never improvised before, so you were kind of intimidated.
Oh, very, very much so. I mean, he asked me to play, and I knew the band already had a good reputation, so I just kind of cringed, and I said, okay. So I just got up, and they were playing the blues, and I started with one note and started building up, and years later, I realized that I had heard of blues scale, you know.
Yeah. Well, you're
So,
so used to just reading, right? That's the way we're learned at the beginning of
yeah,
school.
exactly.
So, how long did you play with the Marcy and the Imperials?
I played until the band actually kind of disintegrated or evolved into the Village Callers.
Well, I
So
remember hearing that Marcy went back to school and he got a high degree. And what was that about?
he went and got his degree, and then he was a I'm not sure if he was a full professor, but he taught at East L.A. College.
Hmm.
So you know he did well. He did very well.
I remember there's another funny thing about them is they had some band cards made up and there was a misprint. Instead of saying Marcy and the Imperials, it said Marcy and them Imperials.
Then my Imperials, the printer made a mistake,
And you left it for a while.
left it, and that was our name for a while. So yeah, so it was the Imperials, but for the later part of the band, the years the band was together, we them Imperials.
Right. So what was the next band? Was that the Village Callers?
Yeah, the Village Callers, and we slowly evolved into that. I don't remember exactly what the circumstances were, but Marcy ended up leaving the group, and then we got our Ernie Hernandez and John Gonzalez came into the band, and
Keyboards.
yeah, and then that's when we changed the name to Village Scholars, and that was Ernie's idea. Ernie Hernandez, the guitar player.
And what year would you say that was when you got the
I
name?
I would say it was about 67.
What were your main musical influences at the time?
Well, at the time, I was just basically listening to blues bands and that kind of thing. But and it was during that time that I actually got introduced to jazz by our manager at that time, Hector Rivera, and he gave me a Charlie Parker album. At that time, it was an album, and it really floored me. You know, it was something else. It was new, completely new to me. And then, there was another band that used to rehearse. The organized set used to rehearse in that house. And actually, there were two other bands. The Workhorse. We had a band house, and there were like three or four bands that they'd rehearse in there. And the trombone player was Jeff Dean, who later joined Poverty Train. It was a later band, and he turned me on to Miles Davis and those kind of things. Those like jazz music, and again, it was new to me, but I was just like floored by it. So yeah,
So would you say that your main influences were, I'm guessing, R&B, Latin, and jazz?
exactly. Yeah, I don't know what in that order. Nah, I think the R&B, yeah, and
Hmm.
Latin. I mean, Latin. I had been listening to, my mom and dad used to listen like people like Fats Domino and Jerry Lee Lewis and stuff like that. So I was already like listening to that music a lot, and but they did become a big influence on me. I used to like love honky tonk and things like that. So yeah.
And the Village Callers were never into, say, British invasion music as far as playing it.
No, no, we were more like a kind of funk, but we wanted to. Well, as a band, we started doing Latin. We got a guy named Chuck Maston in the band, and he brought all these Latin rhythms, and so that's that was the guy that started us on the path to playing with all that influence in our music.
And you guys might have been the first East LA group to do that. Would you say that? Is that your recollection?
I think so. I mean, I hope I'm accurate, but yes, I think we were playing Latin music. Manny, our drummer, was playing. They were studying with the Latin players, some of the guys in the Willy Bobo band, and they were actually studying all with those guys. So they would come back to rehearsals, and uh, we would play pop music or R&B, but we always had to lean towards the Latin. So I think, well, I know we had a pretty unique sound for East LA. I mean.
Speaking of Willie Bobo, I was talking to you on the phone last night, and you mentioned that you had a brief encounter with Willie in terms of you did some rehearsals with him for a couple of weeks, and tell me
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, that was later after I had gone on the road with the poverty train. And when we came back, I don't know, for some reason, he approached our horn section. There were three of us, Michael Mercado and Jeff Dean, who's known as Dino, and myself. And Willie Bobo, I don't know, I don't even remember how he got a hold of us, but he hired us as a horn section, and he took us into the studio. But I don't think it was so much for recording. He was rehearsing his book. So you might have said on the slide, he was having the record company pay for our rehearsals for the gigs, So
Was he pretty easy to work with, or what was he like?
he was fun to work with. He was a character. He was a lot of fun, and uh, his playing and his onstage presence, which we didn't get to really envision. But well, I had seen him before, and the way we rehearsed, he was always a happy guy.
So getting back to the Village Callers, you had at least a couple of great female singers. The first one was Angie Bell, was that it?
Yeah, it was Angie Bell. We had a guy singer when we evolved into the Village Scholars, Sammy Lee, the guy's name, but he didn't last long. He was actually got in trouble and ended up in prison.
Mm.
But then we got Angie Bell, and after after years, she left and we got Geree. And then I remembered when we were talking last time after we talked that actually Ursi was in the band as well.
That's right. That's right.
Ursi was she wasn't with us too long, but then I think she got recruited by what was I think they were called the VAPs.
Yeah. Before
Kind
El Chicano, before they turned into El Chicano.
of.
So
So
let's say the last names. When you talk about Geree, we're talking about Geree Gonzalez,
all is
great female singer.
yes,
I think at that time was she known as Jerry Logan already? Was she married?
yeah. She doesn't like to be Geree Logan anymore.
No, no. Um, and so you had Ursi Arvisu, who was in the Sisters before that,
Yes, he
real
was.
popular East L.A. group with her sisters, and then they made records and everything.
Yeah,
And then she was during the VIPs, and then El Chicano for one album.
right. Yeah.
So you had
He-
some killer female vocalists there.
yes, yes. We were very fortunate that we had some good, really good singers.
Would you say how long would you say each one of those singers were in the band? Like how long was Angie Bell the lead singer?
At least a year and a half, maybe 2 years. She left, and then it was Geree, and Geree was in the band for 2, 3 years at least. Yeah, and then Ursi, I really don't remember how long she was in the band. Again, I think she got recruited and she left, but maybe not even a year. I'm not
So
sure.
who were the drummers? I know Manny Fernandez was for a while, but did you have other drummers?
Manny was in the Village Callers. He was the only drummer. Um, and then later we got another drummer after the group kind of evolved into Poverty Train, and we had another drummer, Sonny.
Okay.
I forgot his last name, but he's a hard rock drummer. So we after the Village Callers, and then we actually became a rock band.
Right. By the way, the name Village College, didn't that come from a song title by somebody? Who was it?
Ernie picked it up from I think it was might have been Wes Montgomery's song, and Ernie brought it into the band.
Cool
Ernie,
name. Very cool name.
yeah.
Now you guys made some records. Let's talk about the single Hector.
Yes, that was actually when we recorded it. Uh, I didn't have a lot of confidence in it. It was kind of a gimmick song, but it was Johnny Gonzalez wrote it, but it was funky. I mean, it was really funky. The reason I say it was kind of a gimmick song is because on the break, I just said Hector,
Were you the
and
one?
yeah,
Okay, well, we got to tell everybody it was an instrumental. So it was
Yeah,
like this funky instrumental, and it would stop and go, Hector, and he'd say stuff.
exactly. And
And
that was
Hector was your manager. Hector Rivera was his name?
yeah. So it was kind of poking fun at him because we were always, you're kids, man, you're always making fun of somebody. So, and that's how that song came to be, and it became a big success, and we were really fortunate. Got on TV shows and Lloyd Thaxton and the Groovy Show, and we had we worked a lot. I mean, we were in demand for quite a long time.
So you were on all those television shows.
Yes,
Yeah, I remember Lloyd Thaxton was very popular. He had a very cool show, Channel 13. I
yeah, so
remember I was on his set one time, right? That there's a beginning of the show, it shows the outside of a building. You could see the windows and you could see people in the back. It's actually a little tiny model, right? It's
right.
about that big, but they just put the camera on, it makes it look like a big building. But he was really popular.
Yeah, it was.
So was Hector's last name Rivera? I didn't want to get the wrong last name.
Yeah, he was our manager.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And at the end, was that all of you saying shit about him, or was it only you? Because I remember it was like, "Oh, Hector, you're so ugly. Tienes
yeah.
cara, tienes cara
No,
de lástima, Hector." Were
yeah.
all you saying stuff?
Oh, that was me.
It was just you.
I was just messing with him, and
Were you
and they
making it up as you went along?
yeah, and they kept it on the record. I said, "Whoa, okay,
And help make it popular, man.
yeah,
So was it after that that you made the whole album?
yeah."
By the
That
way, you recorded for Eddie Davis, didn't you?
yes, for Eddie
So
Davis.
Eddie Davis was the guy who was behind, he owned 8 small independent record labels. He was behind the Cannibal the Headhunters release and the Blendells and the Premiers and Solace Brothers, Jaguars.
Yeah, yeah. No, he had a lot to do with the East L.A.
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
That was him.
And where did you record Hector, by the way?
At Plus Funny.
Oh, live? You did it live at the gig?
Yeah.
So talk
So
about the Plush Bunny. Was that in Pico Rivera?
yeah, that was our first nightclub experience. Actually, we were underage, and we started playing there, and there was another band there that was a great influence on us. The Chuck Freeman and the Drivers, really good band. Yeah, Tina Turner did a couple of shows there when we were there. Yeah, Ike and Tina Turner Review. That's what they were called at that
You were
time.
there for quite a while, right? Plush Bunny.
Yeah,
I never got down there. I heard about it, but I never made it down. But I was probably underage anyway.
well, you were underage,
Yeah.
younger than I am, so I'm sure you were underage.
Yeah.
I,
So then you made a whole album, right?
yeah,
And what was it called?
Village Callers Live, and
And
and most of that album was at the Plus Funny.
oh, we should also mention that years later, Hector was used by various people like the Beastie Boys and Cypress Hill.
The
Did
sound,
you guys get any bucks out of that?
not much, very little.
And then the album did very well, and then it was later released in Japan, right?
Yeah, that was surprising. They showed somebody, Hector Gonzalez, showed me the album, and it was all the graphics were Japanese, which
Right.
was it's pretty interesting.
And that was through the gentleman Shin Miyata. I don't know if you heard of him, but he was one that owned the label in Japan, and he was releasing all this East LA stuff in Japan. He was enamored with our culture.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I
Oh
didn't. I
yeah,
had never heard that name.
oh yeah. In fact, I just saw him at the museum at the Great Day in East LA exhibit I'm involved with. He was just there.
Oh, he's
Shin
still in
Miyata.
business.
He's just a big fan of East LA. In a
Yeah.
nutshell, he was a kid in Japan who saw the movie Boulevard Nights, and he loved the lowriders and the culture and the music. So he visited East LA and stayed there for like 6 months, stayed with a Chicano family, checked out all the music. He eventually goes back to Japan. He starts Barrio Gold Records. He starts releasing all these East LA stuff, groups over there, and bringing them over to perform. And it was all this guy, Shin Miyata. He's still around.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He did a lot. I would say he did a lot for us for
Yeah.
the LA.
And the culture caught on over there. To this day, there's lowriders there. There's, uh, you know, Japanese bands that sound like salsa bands or mariachi bands. Very authentic. It's a whole thing over there.
Wow.
So, what other venues did you play? Well, let's discuss some of these flyers here. It's usually part of my show when I have flyers from the various artists. We talk about it because it triggers memories of the venues of other bands. And here's some flyers that I have that the Village Callers are on, and they're not necessarily going to be in order in as far as dates.
Yeah.
I'll try. Okay, here's one. Soul Burst, Saturday, August 13th, 1966. And you're on the bill with the Emeralds, the Prophets.
The Village Colors that were on that bill.
Yeah, yeah, Village Callers.
Wow.
Do you remember the Prophets?
Yeah.
They were good, huh?
Oh, yeah. There were a lot of good bands in East L.A. A lot of
They had the drummer that later was with El Chicano, John DeLuna, played with the
John.
Prophets. But they had some really good people that later went on to other groups. And of course, the Emeralds were very popular as well.
Yeah, very. They were one of the top bands. Yeah.
Yes. And here's another one. This is a very cool, unusual flyer. It's got the drawing of a naked woman on it, and the names of the bands are on the boobs. I'm sorry, but that's the way it happened. If anybody's offended out there. But I'll show it now.
That's fun.
And it's got the Village Callers, the Emeralds, and the Prophets at the Roger Young Auditorium.
Oh, that's a good. That venue was very popular in those days. They had a lot of concerts and mostly dances there.
Yeah. And here's one, Silesian, A Night of Soul,
Yes.
the Young Hearts, the Village Callers, the Royal Checkmates at the Roger Young Auditorium. Do you remember the Roger Young?
Broad checkmates.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just bring back memories.
Do you remember the Roger Young Auditorium?
Oh yeah, yeah. We used to carry a Hammond organ up those stairs.
Montebello Ballroom 2 and Huntington Park Ballroom 2 stairs.
Exactly.
Now here's one at East L.A. College, June 26th, 1966. And it's the Jaguars, the Impalas, Prophets, Ambertones, Enchantments, Exciters, Village Callers, Delighters, Vibratones, Night Riders, and the Salas Brothers. That's quite a lineup.
Wow.
That was probably one of those rock and roll shows. Do you remember playing on?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you come up on the hydraulic stage?
Hydraulic stage, yeah. Yeah, that was kind of big time for the East LA band. So
Yeah, it was a big thing to play there.
Yeah. Those are good memories.
Yeah. Now here's one from December 25, Christmas Day, 1967. The Village Callers, the Royal Checkmates, and the Righteous Rhythms at Serbian Hall. I believe that was in San Gabriel, if I recall.
Sure, I remember playing a Serbian hall, but I don't remember what hall it is anymore.
Yeah. Do you remember the Righteous Rhythms?
No, I don't remember.
We did a few gigs with them. My band, the Men from Sound, were on the bill with them a few times.
I remember the Ambertones quite well.
Yeah, I'm sure you remember the Enchantments.
Yes, the Enchantments.
And of course, the Salas Brothers with the Jaguars.
Yes.
Okay, now here's one the same year, 1967, New Year's Eve. Village Callers, Royal Checkmates, Righteous Rhythms, and the IBMs. We used to play with the IBMs also in a lot of shows. Here's January 12th, 1968. Village Callers, Royal Checkmates at Our Lady of Talpa Auditorium. Do you remember that place? I don't remember.
Yes. Yeah, that was across the street from another saxophone player where he lived. He lived across the street from Talpa. And Art, but I don't remember Art's last name. Anyway.
You don't remember what part of town that was in East LA?
Oh, Talpa is right there on Evergreen and 3rd.
Okay.
Across the street from Evergreen Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's one from the Huntington Park Ballroom, April 26, 1968. The Sounds of Success, the Royal Checkmates, and the Village Callers. Do you remember the Huntington Park Ballroom?
Yes. Well, I remember the hall definitely and the bands. Yeah.
Again, it had the stairs. I was
Yeah,
just in Huntington Park when was it? Last Thursday, I played at did a presentation at a high school slash middle school. And so I was driving around there and I hadn't been to Huntington Park since I played there in the 60s. And I forgot where it was. It's right there next to Maywood off the 710 freeway. It's not far from East L.A. at all.
yeah. We didn't play there a lot, but we did play there maybe
I
four or
played there
five.
twice, I know that. Here's another one. The Young Set presents the Village Callers, the Counts, the Royal Checkmates at the Roger Young again. So you guys played there quite a bit, huh?
Yeah. We that was a popular dance place.
And I probably have others, but I'll just put one more here. Here's one, UMAS. It must be an organization. Village Callers, organized set, Emeralds at Cal State Los Angeles, my alma mater, April 11th, 1969.
Wow.
Tell me about the organized set. Do you know anything about them? You said they practiced.
Jerry Logan, I mean, Geree Gonzalez, she was a singer, and a guy had named Ronnie, I don't remember Ronnie's last name, bass player. And the thing about the organized set is they had a horn section, um,
Mhm.
a really good horn section, and some of those guys, well, most of those guys were like from the Whittier area. They
Mhm.
were from East L.A.
Okay.
So yeah, and they were quite good. They were very good. Well, they had Jerry singing
Mhm.
and good players, really good players. They used to rehearse on Camulos as well in that house I mentioned before.
So as far as recording, the Village Callers just did the single Hector, and they did the album. On that album, you guys recorded Evil Ways, which was a Willie Bobo recording
Yeah.
previously. And you guys recorded it before Santana, right?
Yes. So the story goes is that they heard it and they covered it.
The story that I heard was that you guys released it and it was getting airplay up in the Bay Area.
It
So
was.
it makes it possible that he heard that and goes, oh, that's cool. Um, and that really put Santana on the map. So you took that Willie Bobo recording and did you guys do it Latin as well? And did you guys add any rock elements to it?
Well, we weren't. Most of the guys in the band weren't really Latin players, so yeah, it took on another flavor in comparison to Willie Bobo's version. Yeah, and our guitar player was really into West Montgomery, so he played the dan, 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 dan in octaves, and so on the guitar. So yeah, it had other influences, but not necessarily on purpose. We learned it as a cover tune.
Now, was one of your keyboard players playing a Hammond organ in the Village Callers days?
Yeah, and he was well, if not the first, one of the
Which
first.
which guy was it?
John Gonzalez,
Right. And he later changed his name to John Livingston, right?
John Livingston,
And
yes.
he did very well. No, this is really interesting because, right, you guys were very similar to, and vice versa, to the VIPs slash El Chicano.
Right.
You both had Hammond players that probably liked Jimmy Smith, and
It,
you both had guitar players that liked Wes Montgomery.
yep. Yeah. Those were the influences of at least those two bands I know for sure. A lot. Uh, some of the bands were doing like the British sound, and so we had quite a variety of music in East Los Angeles in those days. I mean, where there were still people going to dances in some of the clubs and doing Latin music, salsa, and that kind of stuff. So there was a lot going on. In the 60s, there was still a lot of music going on in East LA. Yeah.
Oh yeah, never stopped. Tell me about Poverty Train, how that evolved out of the Village
Well,
Callers.
Poverty Trend evolved from when Angie left, and Angie and Manny left at the same time, and so we just tried to keep on going. But the drummer that auditioned was Sonny, and just a rock and roll player, and so we just decided to go with it. and it transformed the band from a Latin rock band into a rock band, rock and roll band. And so we hooked up with an agent, and we started going on the road a lot.
As a matter of fact, Poverty Train did a lot of road stuff. Went to Hawaii and things. Did you
Yeah.
play much locally in East LA or hardly at all?
We didn't play too much in East LA because that's when we hooked it on with the agency, and they started sending us up and down California, and then we ended up going to Hawaii and Alaska.
So
Yeah,
before we get into that, mention the members of Poverty Train.
with Geree
Gonzalez, vocalist.
Gonzalez, Michael Mercado. Uh, we had Poverty Train. We went through I think four guitar players, and we'd be changing guitar players a lot. Not that for any reason other than they were really good players and they had other things they were doing. So
What about bass players?
bass player was Charles Racita, who ended up leading the group after. Yeah,
Who was the guy that wound up with Cecilio and Kopono?
Cecilio was it. Cecilio ended up joining Poverty Train. Uh, I think we were in Hawaii, or no, I'm sorry, we were here. He joined the band, then went to Hawaii. He ended up staying there, and then he joined up with Kopono.
Was that his real name, Cecilio?
Cecilio, yeah. I
What was
don't
his
remember
last name? You don't remember?
the Latino guy,
You don't
but
remember his last name?
no, no, but
Anyway, they got kind of famous, right? Cecilio and Kopono.
oh yeah, they did a lot of albums, and they were doing really well.
Yeah, yeah. So, so tell me about your Hawaiian adventure with the Poverty Train.
Well, that was an adventure. I mean, we get there, and they book us into a little hotel, but it was a hotel. There were little what do they call them? Like
Resort?
little rooms, just shacks kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which island was it?
Oahu. We were actually we played in Waikiki all the time we were there. The Lemon Tree was the club, and that club, the customers were all locals. We didn't play for the tourists much there,
Hmm.
so we were kind of unusual in that sense. So we got a lot of room to just play rock and roll and jam and originals and yeah. So we were very fortunate to be playing there at that particular place. Yeah.
So I can get your side of the story. I recently interviewed Michael Mercado, and who sadly passed away a couple of weeks ago. Um, and he told me these stories, and we'll get your side of the story about how you met Don Ho and how you wound up playing a show with him.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know how he ended up knowing who we were, but he really liked the band, and he hired us for I don't know granddaughters, one of his relatives, and he liked the band a lot, so he invited us to go play at his club, and we ended up on stage.
Now, he was the biggest star in Hawaii. He was a
You
huge
know,
star and known internationally, really, but he was a big deal there.
yeah,
And didn't you do a concert for him? Was it in a crater or something?
yes, as a creator,
Talk
we
about
did
that.
several performances at the Diamond Head Crater. That was one for his a big birthday bash there, and then we did another performance there with Santana and Buddy Miles and all big headliners. It was a big concert, and it's just huge, and we ended up playing with Santana. And later he came to the club and sat in, and uh, it was quite an experience for us. And we're playing with big stars, that was
Yeah. I think Mike said that didn't he smoke pot with you guys or something? I don't
oh yes,
know. Okay.
yeah, yeah. We were in the quote hippie days, and
Of course.
yeah.
So what about Alaska?
Alaska, we played in a club there, the Fancy Moose, and they actually had two bands, a show band and then the show band room, and then we played a room, and that's where a lot of bikers and rough people went in, but it was fancy. It was really a nice room, and we stayed there for 3 months. That was an experience, but we opened for Rare Earth and a big concert there. You know, it was something else. That was another high for us as far as concerts playing with big name people. But yeah, that was an experience.
Um, so how did that evolve into Chico?
Well, we got off the road, and it's kind of a funny story. We'd been on the road so long that our wives got tired. So they went over to Hawaii and they said, "You either come home or
Or else?
you're no more home," So we came back, and I had 2 children at the time, and I decided I needed a little more stability, and so I went back to school and I got my teacher's degree and started teaching in 1977. And then I was freelancing a little bit with different bands here and playing big bands and stuff, and some gigs, with different people. And then I went to Joe and I had been in the Village College together, so he called to see if I was interested in playing with him. I went to go to one of his gigs, which was a funny thing because when I went to go see him that particular day, Michael was already in Chico. Michael also played with Chico for a while.
Mercado?
Yeah. So when I walked in, I look on the stage and there's a dog running back and forth on the stage. The conga player decided that he didn't want to be leaving his dog alone at home, so he started bringing the dog to the gig.
Oh,
That was the funniest thing. Anyway, I joined the band at that time. Yeah, there were Elias Chico was the drummer, and later Manuel or Manny Fernandez and Vic Buxton came into the band.
so as I recall, Joe he joined Chico, Sal Chico, was it? Yeah, when he retired, he sold the charts and everything and the name to Joe, and he's still running it now, what, 50, 60 years later?
Yeah, well, we used to work a lot. Well, things have kind of not died down. It's that they slowed down compared to when we used to play 2 gigs a week, 2 gigs in a day, regularly on Saturdays, and it's been a very, very busy band.
And you've played with them pretty much the entire time?
Yeah, oh yeah, that was in the '70s.
All the way till now. And I just saw you guys a few weeks ago at the Garfield 50th anniversary. And you guys were playing, sounded great, you know.
We're still doing it, And fortunately, we do get a lot of work still, and we all enjoy it. We're older gentlemen now.
Yes, gentlemen. We're gentlemen. Hopefully.
Yeah,
So let's talk about Chico. So you've had a lot of people in that group. I know for a long time you had Danny Diaz on lead guitar, 20 years or so.
yeah, he's quite the player. Still playing. He's
Mhm.
still
And I know Geree Gonzalez has sung with you, right?
yes,
But
Jerry.
mostly Bertha Oropesa, correct?
Yes, Bertha's been with us for probably 20 years.
Great singer.
A great singer. Yeah, she's a wonderful singer. Yeah, and Vic Buxton, like I said before, now he's been with us for several years, and Martin Medina is the drummer now. He came in after Manny left the band. So yeah,
Manny Fernandez, yeah. And you've had a
yeah,
lot of guys sub for you guys. Friends of mine, like Anthony Beret played some gigs with you on keyboard,
yeah. On the
the
keyboard,
Emeralds.
yeah, the Emeralds.
And Herth Martinez, do you remember Herth Martinez?
Earth, yeah,
Great jazz player,
yeah.
great songwriter.
He's a great musician. I mean, he amazed me. I heard Earth the first time Garfield High School. He was in a night band, and I just somebody said, "Man, the night jazz band, they're good." So I went over there, and there was a guitar player that, whoa, who is that? I didn't know it was the same guy. Later, I heard him playing rock and roll with, I forget what band, one of the East L.A. bands. And, phew, that was good.
Was Earth going to Garfield at that time?
No,
He was
no,
just
he
playing there?
night band. He was playing, and they had a jazz group at night
Mhm.
rehearsing. They were using the
Oh, I see.
school band room to rehearse. Well, yeah, yeah. Earth is
Fantastic guitar player, fantastic songwriter. I don't know if you heard his albums, but
no.
he made a couple of albums on Warner Brothers Records.
Well,
Uh, he was discovered by Bob Dylan. He was produced by Robbie Robertson of the band. I mean, great
okay,
albums in the
but
70s, mid 70s. Um, so let's see. So yeah, we went to Garfield at the same time, and we didn't know each other that well. I mean, it just maybe a hello. I'd see you
yeah.
in the
Well,
band, and but we didn't know each other. But I knew very much about you, and you probably knew about me.
yep.
But we just never, back in those days, we weren't quite as outgoing, right? You're young, and you,
No, you're young and yeah, kind of people different paths.
yeah, exactly. But you taught at Belvedere Junior High School, which is now middle school.
Yes, I taught there for 19 years.
Wow.
I started in '77, and we had a big program there, a huge program. I was the orchestra director, and Greg Garcia was the band director, and he had a jazz program. Kind of Latin jazz. He used to write charts for the kids, and later I, I started. I played a breakfast with my orchestra kids. We played a breakfast with the teachers, and I had an arrangement of some Mexican music. So I got them and some guitar players to play for the breakfast, and the principal kind of kidding around says, "Oh, we have a mariachi now." Vicky Castro, he ended up being on the board of education, the president of the board of education. Anyway, I said, "Yeah." So it kind of rang a bell in my head, and then later I went to ask, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I could start a mariachi." And she was excited about it. So I didn't have experience doing that music. I asked her, I needed a budget then. So I went to San Antonio, Texas, and they had a program. So I went to San Antonio, Texas, and learned a little bit about mariachi. And then I came back, asked her for a budget, bought vihuela and guitarron, and started Mariachi Olímpico as
At Belvedere?
at Belvedere, yeah. And it
Nice.
became really, really popular and it kind of opened up uh, the mariachi programs. Inspired, I guess, a lot of the mariachi programs. It was a really exciting thing for me. The kids, I just happened to have a lot of students in my orchestra and I didn't know at the time that their parents were into mariachi music, and
Of course. Now, of course, mariachis never include a saxophone, so
no,
you couldn't play in them.
exactly.
So, did you teach at any other schools, or was it mainly Belvedere?
I taught it at Roosevelt.
Oh, wow, Roosevelt High School.
When uh, I went to Roosevelt from Belvedere at the urging of the principal at Roosevelt because he wanted the mariachi program over there. So I went to Roosevelt and we had mariachi Olímpico there as well.
Nice. It's great.
So
What about Bobby Rodriguez? You did a thing with him. Didn't you do that album with him?
yeah, I did two albums with HMA Big Band,
Right. And the HMA stood for Hispanic. What?
Musicians Association.
We must say that Bobby Rodriguez is a great trumpet player. He went on to get a PhD in music and play with a lot of people.
But
And when was that? In the 80s or the 90s that that HMA thing happened?
um, 80s.
I had a copy of that album. Who were they?
It started off as Hispanic musicians. It was actually an Hispanic Musicians Association, and Eddie Cano,
Wow.
great Eddie Cano was the president at that time.
Great keyboard player, had hit records and everything.
Jazz Latin pianist, and somehow we used to rehearse as a HMA band, and somehow Bobby ended up taking over the band, and then he started recording and making it a little more outgoing band. We just used to rehearse, and when Bobby took it over, then it started doing concerts and recordings, and it became quite successful.
Were there any other East LA horn players in that group besides you
Uh,
and Bobby?
I think for a while, Bobby Loya
Hmm.
with
Trumpet?
most of the guys were not from East LA after. You know, we had guys like Benny Maupin and those, Miles Davis standout and people like that in the band. So Bobby went out and recruited with like top notch players. So that was quite an experience for me.
Wow.
Really happy to be in that. We did a couple of albums, CDs now,
Mhm.
although that's gone too. Yeah.
Did you
So
hear about that East LA Philharmonic? Did you ever get involved with that?
yes.
You did.
No, I wasn't in it.
Yeah, but it was like a lot of the East LA horn players, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember who. I don't know if I ever knew who the players were.
I think it was like Larry Rondon and some of those guys,
Was that right?
Yeah, Romeo Prado, some of the Midnighters kind of guys.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
memories.
Yeah.
Great memories of that guy.
Yeah. What was that like? Like the East LA sax players, we can say like, Bobby Navarrete and you. And did you guys know each other? Was there a sort of a fraternity of sax players?
Well, we were always, fortunately, we were all just busy. I was, fortunately with bands that I played with, I was playing a lot. Larry with the Midnighters, they were playing a lot. So,
Larry Rendon.
with Tierra and all that. So we knew each other uh, very well, and we crossed paths all the time. But they're great players, man. That's Tony Garcia is another guy.
Mhm.
Tony Garcia. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I know I'm going to leave somebody out.
So many great players. Yeah, as far as Village Callers singers, we forgot to mention Al Anaya, who used to sing with the Impalas. He later sang with the Midnighters. Talk about Al.
Impalas and then the Village Callers. Then we went to the Midnighters.
Yeah.
He's a great singer. Geez, he was a great influence because he used to like to sing Frank Sinatra stuff. Nobody was doing that in East LA, and we started doing Frank Sinatra tunes.
Hmm.
So, and then of course Ernie, the guitar player, loved that kind of music as well. I mean the genre of music. So I can't off the top of my head remember exactly which tunes, but yeah, we were playing Frank Sinatra, and Al. Yeah, he's a very good singer.
Did you know that Al also played sax?
No,
He was in the Impalas. He played sax before he became a singer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. He just laid it down after he started singing. What about albums? Chico made quite a few CDs, didn't they?
Chico's made four, actually five because we did a Christmas CD. So yeah, I've been on those albums. So
Mostly cover tunes?
yeah, we had one that our trumpet player wrote that was not a cover tune. Other than that, everything else was cover tunes. But they sound different. Again, we had our own style. We had Jose Arellano on the band at the time.
Mm,
He arranged a lot of our stuff.
very talented.
It was he made it. He made it sound good. His arrangements and his playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
As I mentioned to you on the phone last night, his uncle and father were Los Hermanos Arellano, who used to sing and perform with my dad. They were great. Conjunto players.
they taught Jose well. Jose plays a lot of instruments and plays it all very high level. And he arranges. He arranges for big bands and for anything really.
Right.
Yeah, great arranger.
I'm sure they taught him, but he got the DNA as well.
Yeah, he was. He coincidentally he was one of my students the first year I taught. Jose. He was my student.
Wow.
Yeah, but since he was a young person in junior high school at the time, he was curious about music. He would ask me questions, and never had a student like that.
Oh,
And he ended up being quite a talent.
Now, when you were the Village Callers, you played in Hollywood a bit, right? I see.
Oh yeah,
Like you played at the Haunted House
the haunted
and the
house.
Cave.
The PJs at PJs and yeah, the haunted house was right there on Hollywood and Vine. That's when Hector was hot, and we had lines around the block trying to get in. So yeah,
Pat and
it's
Lolly Vegas used to play there before they were Redbone too. They were very popular there as well. When you guys were on the bill with the 103rd Street Rhythm Band,
right.
uh, from
Great.
South Central.
It's a great band. I think the 103rd Street Band. Some of them went into Earth, Wind and Fire. The guitar player, namely,
Mhm.
his name, left-handed guitar player.
Yeah. Wow. I wrote an article on you guys on my website, and it was based on an interview with you and Joe Espinoza in 2007. And here, the last paragraph says, at that time, this is in 2007, Joe Espinoza, Chico had been in the band for 36 years, you 29 years, Bertha 13 years, Manny Fernandez 25 years, Danny Diaz 30 years, Gilbert Avila on trumpet and congas 31 years, and Bill Keys on keyboards 8 years. That was
Wow.
then. I got to add another 25 years or whatever to some of you guys. But
Man, that's amazing.
yeah, well, that brought up two other people, right? Bill
Yeah.
Keys, Gilbert Avila.
Gilbert Avila, we met him since we were teenagers, but we didn't cross paths till later. I saw him in Hawaii with a band, Friends and Brothers, I think that was the name of the band. But we just ran into each other there. But he was in Chuck Freeman and the Drivers when we started playing at the Plush Bunny. They were the house band, and when we started there, and that was a great band. His brother Roy Avila and him, and I don't remember the rest of the players. Waxy was a guitar player, but they were good. So we've known him for a long time, but then we got in Chico. I don't remember who was there first, but yeah, we ended up in Chico as well. Him and I, and the Manny and myself. And
You know what I didn't ask you? I'd like to ask you, like you mentioned Charlie Parker, but as far as your favorite sax players, your inspirations, influences, whether they be R&B, jazz, who are your favorite sax players?
um, yes, I would say Dexter Gordon, Hank Mobley, uh, Bob Mincer. Uh, the guy I really used to like a lot is Wilton Feldner from
Oh yeah.
the Crusaders, the Jazz Crusaders. So those guys, yeah, they're very influential. But James Moody and Hubert Laws and guys like that. So those guys are very influential as far as what I want to sound like. I try to emulate some of the stuff they do,
So I ask most people, just to kind of sum up, what are your feelings and memories and um, about being part of the East Side sound of the 60s, 70s and what it was like and how you feel about it, that you were part of it and how would you describe it?
well, I would say that I feel like I was very fortunate to be part of it, and I don't know, accidentally fell into it, little by little, but it was a big part of my life. And just playing music in general it keeps me going. Uh, I love doing it. I love playing, and I love even practicing at home. Just I like being on my instruments and being part of the East L.A. sound and the experiences on the road and all that. I think that really made me a much better person. Uh, and then also the friendship with all these musicians and even people out in the audience, and being appreciated. Yeah, so it's been a very positive experience.
It's amazing though how much talent sprang out of there spontaneously and how many bands popped up. It was a happening. It was a boom. It
Oh
just
yeah,
happened. We just happened to be there, right place, right time.
right time. That just one guy I forgot to mention is Charles Rueris.
Oh, Father Charles, he became a
Father
priest.
Charles, yeah,
He was in the
and
Blue Satins, right?
using the Blue Satins, and uh, and then he plays with the Village Scholars for a little while as
Huh?
well. We had two sax players for a while, so yeah, and he's a great person. Uh, anyway, I just thought I'd mention him.
Mhm.
Really, really great friend.
Well, anything else? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up.
Do you remember the Sancho show?
Yeah,
I was one of the honorees for one of their. Remember they used to have the Sancho
award.
awards show?
It was a Quetzalcoatl Award.
Yeah,
You got one?
yeah,
Wow.
because of the mariachi and because of my teaching.
Oh, great.
So and my teaching was I started teaching for security, wanted a job. Then I had a family and everything, but it ended up being like uh, career wise equal to or as far as equal to being a musician, if not more.
And
Reward,
equally rewarding, if not more
yeah,
so.
fully rewarding is the right way to put it. Yeah.
Well, that's a good place to end it, man. Thank you for doing it, man. And I'll let you know when it's up. It should be up in a few days.
All right. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
man. Thanks for doing it, Fuzzy.
thank you as well. I mean, thank you for inviting me to do this. I appreciate it.
Okay, man. Hope to see you soon.
And yeah, I hope so, man.
Okay, take care.
Bye bye.